Hello, Florida friends. My name is Cindy, and I want to thank Glenna for asking me to make this video for you. This is a 45-minute or so class that I call Strong and Steady. It focuses on strength and balance, which, as you know, is really important as we get older. I'm a senior too, and I have several types of arthritis, so I know how important balance is for all of us. So today's class, you're going to need a sturdy chair. I have mine on a yoga mat because this is a wood floor, but making sure that the surface beneath you isn't slippery, because we'll be offering standing and seated options. Weights are great if you have them. If you don't, a water bottle can be helpful, or a can of soup, or something you can hold. Perhaps that might be useful for you, okay? The other thing is the workout can be done in bare feet. I love to work in bare feet because it really helps to keep the muscles in my feet strong. It also helps my balance. If that doesn't feel comfortable to you, any kind of grippy yoga sock can be really good, almost like those hospital socks they give you. Unfortunately, you've ever been in the hospital, but they have the grips on them. And the other thing is, of course, your sneakers or workout shoes. You don't want to have slippery shoes. So today again, I'm going to be starting with a basic warm-up, and then we're going to be moving through some standing and seated options. Now, that being said, I want you to really be aware of how these movements and the different things I offer work for you. I'll be giving you lots of choices, but the ultimate decision is yours as to how, if you want to stand, if you're going to sit, how you feel today, and what you'd like to do. And that's going to vary day to day sometimes, especially if you're working with any chronic conditions like arthritis, okay? So we're going to get started sitting in a comfortable chair. Now, this is a folding chair that I have. You can have a chair with arms or not. I prefer to work without arms. There's a little bit more movement that we can do. So you're going to sit comfortably in your chair. Now, you can have your back against the back of the chair, or what I would recommend is sitting away from the back of the chair so that the muscles of your trunk and your core have to work harder to keep you upright, okay? But again, this is again a decision for you to make. So, connecting your feet to the earth, feeling your base of the spine connect to the chair. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Again, we don't want to force anything. We just want to invite the lengthening, the perfect posture, whatever you can do. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears, particularly if your shoulders shrug up. I know mine do a lot. So a few rolls of the shoulders can be really helpful to kind of reset. So we're starting with posture, and then we're going to work into warm-up movements. So your ear is over the shoulder. Now, one thing I love to show people is right from the Arthritis Foundation. It's called the chin tuck. So if you take your thumb on your chest and your index finger right on the chin and pull your chin back away from your index finger, what that does is it automatically realigns your head, ears over shoulders. Because we all know as we get older, gravity works on us, right? And our head can come forward, and that causes huge strain in the neck. It also can make us more of a fall risk, particularly if we're forward, because then we're more apt to fall forward. So these are all really important things to be aware of with alignment, okay? So that's why I always start with alignment and breathing. So as the shoulders relax and down, shoulder blades squeezing to back body. Those are the wings on your upper back. Just draw them together. They might not move a lot. They might not move at all. That's okay. Again, just envision that, okay? Now, the core muscles, the belly, the muscles around the spine, really important. So you want to draw those in, almost like a soft cough. Something like that, so that you're drawing in those muscles, engaging them, activating them. That helps you to lengthen and find really nice posture, okay? And your feet can be about hip distance or wider. Again, whatever feels good for you, okay? So now that we have our posture, and again, you're going to hear me cue that the entire time because it's really important to be aware of that. We're going to start with some breathing. Now, breathing is hugely important. I'm a yoga teacher too, and breathing is incredibly magical and will give us energy and will help us to calm the nervous system and quiet the mind. So it's an incredible gift and tool that we have. So today we're going to be moving through some warm-up breaths from this nice alignment that we just created. So I would invite you to bring your palms together here, or maybe one hand on top of the other. And on the inhale, we're going to draw the elbows wide. Now you can have the elbows bent. You can have the arms more straight. This is, again, the choices now that I'm going to start to offer you. You're going to decide how it feels. The longer the lever, the more intensity on the joints, okay? This is less intense. This is more intense, okay? So on the inhale, open up the heart, the chest. And then on the exhale, we're going to give ourselves a gentle hug, just wrapping the arms, maybe touching your shoulders, upper arms, or opposite elbows. Breathing here, through the nose, through the mouth, however. Notice which arm you have underneath. Inhale again, draw the arms wide, bent or straight, maybe look up a bit. And exhale, now switch the arms if you can. Pausing here. The breath helps us to come into present moment so we can really focus on how we feel. Okay, and again, inhale, open up. Maybe gaze upward. We'll start talking about the head and neck movement in a minute. Exhale, wrap the arms the original way, or any way. Sometimes I forget what I did first, it's okay. And then again, one last time, and inhale here. And then an exhale, wrapping, pause here. Nice. Now, relax the arms. They can land anywhere you like. And then let's begin to roll the shoulders up and back and around. So we're just loosening up. Now, as you move, you might notice cracking, popping, snapping. That's very common, as long as it doesn't cause pain. We never, ever want to move to sharp pain, okay? That is a big red no-no. Now, and moving forward. So if you notice any of these movements today causing you sharp pain, please stop. Don't push through that. No pain, no gain stuff we used to say in fitness. That's not true. We don't want that. That's the body saying that's too much. It's not good, okay? So listen to yourselves. Notice how you feel. So you're rolling the shoulders a different way now. Okay, now relaxing the shoulders down, making space between the ears and shoulders. Maybe again that chin tucked back, so you're really stretching through here and activating back here. And now we're going to start moving the head and the neck. Now there are 3 systems associated that help us with our balance, right? Visual, vestibular, inner ear, when the head moves and turns, and the proprioceptors, the sensors in the joints, okay? That's why I like to work barefoot, because my sensors in my feet work better. The sensors, if any of you have arthritis, and I'm sure some of you do, like I do, those proprioceptors don't work as well. And so our balance can be compromised by that, right? So in moving and trying to stimulate these sensors in the joints, movement is critical for that. So again, we're finding that nice alignment, lengthening. Take a breath in, and then either right or left, doesn't matter. You're going to turn your head one direction. Now go as far as you can. Don't force anything. Keep your chin parallel for now. Parallel to the ground. And then slowly come back to center. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. Inhaling again, and then turning the other way. Notice if one side moves differently than the first side. Again, not in a judgmental way, it's information. It's information. Coming back to center again, we're moving nice and slow and easy, noticing how we feel. Take a breath in again. When you're ready, turn to your original side. You might want to tuck your chin in toward that shoulder, or you might want to keep it parallel. Slowly again, come back to center. Continue to breathe any way. You're going to hear me cue inhale, exhale. Breathe any way that works best for you. And then we'll go the other way. Again, parallel or perhaps a chin tuck. Nice. And then come back to center here. Perfect. Okay. So now from here, we're going to be moving into some side or lateral movement. As we get older, we don't bend side to side like we used to when we were kids. So this is a really good one to do. So you're going to tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. Your left shoulder can drop down, and your left arm can reach and extend if you want, reaching toward the earth. Good. Now you can take that left hand and bring it to the side of your neck. You might want to keep it in stillness, or you might want to give a little massage here. These muscles work really hard to keep our neck up and our head up all day. The head is heavy. It's 12 to 15 pounds for that head. And every inch it comes forward, it weighs 5 more pounds. Can you imagine that? So no wonder people have some challenges with balance and posture, right? The head is heavy. Good. Now relax that down. Now I'm going to give you one more choice, very gently now, taking the right hand over the head. This is an option, touching the side of the ear lightly. I'm talking like a butterfly light, like a light butterfly on your ear and a gentle press. So you're still drawing that left shoulder down. Again, you might not like this. It might be too much intensity. And if that's the case, take the hand away and keep the head there on its own. Now coming back to center, reset. Again, I crack and pop all the time. Hopefully you don't hear that in the video. But if you do, that's okay. That's all part of it, right? So lengthening again. Now this time, left ear to left shoulder, right? That right arm, maybe a reach. Good. Maybe taking that hand. Again, the hand, we talk about this in yoga. The hand energy is directly connected to the heart, the healing energy in the hand. So you can take that to your neck. I'll be doing a little bit of yoga with you later as part of this, some standing warrior series, or seated. Good. That's great for balance and strength. So again, see how this side feels. You notice how these muscles feel. Now, releasing that, tilting again if you want the option of the light butterfly touch. Hand overhead, lightly, lightly. No pressing hard. These muscles are delicate. Don't want to press hard. And again, if you don't like this, keep the hand down and keep the tilt only. And that's perfect. And then come back to center. Beautiful. Reset here. Reset. Now, a gentle tuck of the chin. Now, as we look down, a couple of things to be aware of is you never want to move your neck so much that you can't breathe and swallow. That's your kind of red line. You know, if you tuck in too much and you can't breathe and swallow, that means you're doing it too hard, okay? So let the head be heavy here, gently. And then coming back to center, now you have two choices. You can look up with your eyes only, which is perfect if you don't want to move your head, or maybe you gaze up and tilt the chin up. Relax through the face, the jaw, the throat. Keep those shoulders down. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. And then come back to center. Beautiful. So the reason I spend time on the head and neck is that's directly affected to balance. When we stand and we're moving, we turn our head. If someone says hi, all of that can definitely affect the balance. So very important to move here, okay? We rolled the shoulders already, which is perfect. So now we're going to start warming up a little on the trunk. The way I like to do this is with spinal stirs. So widen out the feet, lengthen through the crown. So when I say lengthening, you're trying to sit up tall, like there's a beautiful vine right up through your head right up to the sky. Try not to round forward if you can, okay? Feet are gentle here, widening out, lengthening, and we're going to start to stir around the spine. This is a yoga movement. So you're coming forward and one side and then the other, going back and then to the other side in your own perfect way, noticing how you feel. Again, this is directly all connected to your spine, the muscles around the spine. And warm-ups are really important to prepare us for more intense movements to come. Warm-up is critical for safety. Good. Come all the way back up, lengthen here. I'm going to go the other way. Good, nice and easy here. Yep, my chair is creaking here now too. And if you're creaking and your chair isn't, just blame the chair. That's what we always do. Okay, good. Now coming all the way up here, again, sitting up nice and tall. Beautiful. Reset that alignment here. We're going to do a little bit of warm-ups on the lower body now. So taking up your right leg. Now here is where you're going to decide. I'm going to come sideways here. You're going to decide how your knee feels, right? You might want to start with little movement. You might want to keep the knee bent or the leg straight and not bend it anymore. I mean, it's going to be up to you. Again, I can't see you. I don't know you. I'm just encouraging you to decide how you are going to do this, okay? So whatever range of motion you can do, sit up nice and tall. We're going to extend and then bend. Extend and then bend. Again, the proprioceptors, those sensors in the legs now, how are these feeling? Good, 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 good. And the next time you come back in, now we're going to open that hip up, side and center. Again, you might move a whole different way than I do. You might move less, you might move more. It's your movement, right? It's your practice, it's your body. Nice. Coming back to center, extending that leg out a bit, circling. Here's where we're focusing on the ankles now. Ankle circles are wonderful to wake up those sensors, again, that we've been talking about. And then go a different way. Again, even if you have shoes on, it's good. You can still do this, right? And then we're going to point the toes down toward the floor and then flex. Point and flex. I always say, if you've been sitting for a while, before you get up, these are great to do because it just activates your muscles and your sensors to know that you'll be standing. This can be really helpful. Good. Okay, reset, sit up tall, other side, leg up. Again, smaller range of motion, bend and straighten. Maybe you can do a little bit more, maybe not. Notice how one side moves compared to the other. And again, I always say that in a non-judgmental way. We don't want to say things about, oh, my bad knee or my bad back. It's not bad, right? It's still doing the job. It may be a little compromised. It may have aches and pains. Whatever is, it's all part of you, right? And now the knee is bent, and you're going to open and close the hip on this side. This is really functional for getting out of a car, right? For getting out of a chair. All these movements are really important. And they come from various things I've put together over the years, the Arthritis Foundation classes and all of that. Now, circle the ankle, any direction. Yeah, Maya cracks all the time. And then the other way. Good. And let's do that flex and point here. Nice. Beautiful. So you can see I spend time on the warm-ups. This is important. You really want to be doing these, getting the body ready for the more intensity to come. Good. And then place the feet down, sitting up nice and tall here. Okay, noticing how you feel as we went through the warm-ups, any parts of the body that might feel tense or tight. It's really important to be aware of that, especially if you have any pain, okay? So now I'm going to offer standing. Now, a couple choices. If you want to stay seated for this next round, you absolutely can, but I'm going to be moving into the standing movements. Now, the way I like to do this is what we call from a sit to stand position. So, I'm going to turn my chair so you can see me a little bit better here. Sit to stand is a great thing to practice, okay? Because these are our power muscles. These are our muscles of independence, right? We want to keep these leg muscles really strong so we can do the things we want, get out, walk, do whatever, okay? So you want to think about the toes over the nose, over the toes a bit. If you try to stand up straight, it's going to be a little bit harder. But if you lean a bit forward, hands on the legs to start, taking a breath, and on the exhale, come up, and then come back down, make sure the chair is there, slowly coming back. So I'm going to give you a couple options. You can use your hands lightly on your legs, right? A little more intensity would be hands across the heart so that you're touching your shoulders, so you're not using your arms. Another great way to do sit to stands is what we teach in the Parkinson's class is a up. So you're using those arms to really boost you up, okay? A couple more. Doing what you can. I would really highly encourage you to do sit to stands a couple times a day even if you can. Sit to stands, you want to do at least 10. There's a fitness test for seniors which is called the 30-second sit to stand. You're going to see how many you can do in 30 seconds. So it's really important. So now we're standing or we're in the chair, okay? And I'm going to be cueing outside leg, inside leg, so you can be anywhere you want, okay? However we do this. Now the first thing I like to do when we come to standing is to wake up those sensors in the feet now that we're standing up, right? So the way you do that is you can rock side to side. Now, your feet can stay flat or you can begin to bring up a heel. You can also be behind your chair. I'm coming out from behind my chair here so you can see me. But you can have your hand on the chair, a hand on a wall. Now, maybe bring the heels up. You can see what I'm doing here now. Heels up. I'm going to turn this way. Now, maybe you bring a foot off the floor. Whoop, that didn't work for me, did it? And then the other side. So maybe you bring a foot off the floor. Maybe not, right? Now again, these are options I'm giving you. So maybe you're lifting a foot off, and the hands can be anywhere you want, your arms. Maybe you feel like, oh, my balance is pretty good today. I'm going to bring a heel behind me. And again, you're stretching through here, so it looks like this. Again, whatever you can do. Breathing. Now the big thing, keep moving. Any way you're moving is great. Breathing is huge. As we start to stand in balance, we hold the breath. It's just natural, right? So we really don't want to do that. We want to continue to breathe. Now, if this feels safe to you, now you can start adding some arms, right? Again, these are options and choices, right? It's called the bus stop method. You can stop anywhere on the bus stop, right? So you might want to hold on to your chair. You might want to have one arm on the chair. But you can start adding arms, and the more you start adding arms, this is again where you are challenging your balance here, right? Because now you've got multiple things happening. And of course, if you're tired or you're sitting, you can do the same thing. Bringing your heel back in the chair is a little bit more of a challenge. I know you have to come more to the side, especially if you have a bar under your chair, okay? Good, a couple more here. Nice, and then relax for a moment. Shake it out, let it go. Okay, now a couple things for safety. When you are standing on one leg, you don't want to lock your joints. Now, lock means you're totally straightening the joint, like your knee or your elbow. A soft lock means you have some slight bend. That is safer for the joint, and it also makes the muscles work harder, okay? So now, before we move on to some one-legged movements, we're going to come into some calf raises, okay? So again, hands can be anywhere you want for a balance. You're going to bring up your heels. So the toes, the balls of the feet are on the mat, and then, or your rug, wherever you are. So it's a lift up and down. Again, see how your balance is. The other thing to be aware of in standing, right, keep going, is ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over, every time I turn my head I lose my balance, you notice that? Over the knees, knees over the ankles, okay? So you want to think about that alignment here. So calf raises, and you can also have the feet wider if that feels safer to you. Again, any kind of balance work, it's safety first, really important. And if you feel that your shoulders are you're coming forward a bit, just reset the shoulders back, up and back and down. I do that a lot during the day. That really helps me to maintain my alignment. Just being aware of it is really important. Beautiful. So we did the calf raises. Now, bring one foot forward, heel down, lift the toes. Now, this is more intense than the one we did seated. So the heel's staying down and you're lifting. You might feel a stretch in your calf muscle back there. This is a calf stretch, but it's also strengthening these muscles in the front part of the shin. Again, all these muscles are really important for balance. Again, see, you don't want to go too fast. You want to go full range of motion, up, plant the foot down like you're in the sand, right? Lift the foot up, plant the foot like you're in the sand. You can spread out your toes if that feels okay. Good. And let's switch to the second side now. So again, you're standing, balancing, leg is soft in the knee, other foot is front. And you're going to keep the heel down and lift those toes. Maybe spread those toes out and then plant them in the imaginary sand. And up. And then down. Good. And up. And then down. Good. Couple more. These are really good. Walking in the sand, by the way, is wonderful for balance. Wonderful strengthening on the legs. I know it's not easy. Good. And down. All right, relax it out, shake it out. Okay, now we're going to come into some one-legged movements. Front, side, and back. Okay? So the way I'm going to show you this is from the angle here. So your outside leg, again, you can have your hand on the chair, the wall, whatever you like. So we're going to be standing, whatever leg you're standing on, we're going to bring that outside leg front, then you come back to center, side, center, and back. Now, if you're sitting in the chair, the back one is harder. I understand that. Front, center, side, center, and back. So in the chair, if you're sitting, instead of coming back with a straight leg, you could bend the knee, okay? Front, center, side, center, and back. Beautiful. Keep going. Front. This is all for the hip strength. You're also getting hip strength on the standing leg because you might be feeling that work, right? Front. Are we breathing? Lengthening through the crown of the head. Nice. Good. And you could be moving, keep going, faster and slower than me. That's okay. You really want to go for range of motion. You don't want to go so fast that you're not getting the range of motion. And moving slower is harder. It absolutely is. Because you really have to concentrate on that balance, right? Good. One more time. Front, side, and back. And then let's shake that out. And we're going to go to the second side now. So again, your chair, your wall, whatever you got here. Okay, standing leg slightly bent. This leg already worked. So now we're coming up other way, right? Doesn't matter how high the legs come out. That's not the point. It's movement in the hip. Movement in the hip. Breathing. So we're strengthening here the front of the hip. This is your hip flexor. The side of the hip, the abductor muscle here. And then the back part, which is your glute and your hamstring. So these are all very important muscles for balance, for function. Again, your muscles of independence, right? Once these muscles start to lose the strength, then it's not good. It's not good. I'm going to keep them strong. Good. Good. One more time around, take your time. Then we're gonna do a sit back squat. Then I'm gonna move into some standing yoga options for you. Okay, so again, shake it out, relax it, relax it. Anytime you wanna sway, you could hula hoop, like you have a hula hoop, right? Any of that can be really good to do. Perfect. Now, squats. Squats are hugely important. That's getting up out of a chair, right? Getting off a toilet, that's a squat. Those are all these muscles that we've been working. So proper technique for a squat is really important, okay? A lot of times people come forward with the knees first, and that throws them off their alignment. What you want to think about in a squat is your hips back, then your knees bend, and then you come up, all right? So you can hold on to your kitchen sink. You can be against a wall, however you'd like to do this. Today we're going to use the chair. Again, you don't want to pull on the chair. You don't want to lose it. Lengthening here, feet about hip distance or a little wider apart. Think about your hips going back, then your knees bend. Here, looking forward. Now, really important, press through the heels of your feet on the way up, not your toes. Press through the heels of your feet, okay? That's, again, activating these glute and hamstring muscles. If you press through the toes, it's too much strain on your knee, okay? So let's try a few of those. Your hands could be on the chair. Your hands could be on your thighs here. Yep, hips go back, knees bend. Breathing, breathing. Again, powering up these muscles. Very, very important to keep these strong. Nice. Doesn't matter how low you go. Okay, you don't want to drop yourself to the floor. I mean, you can go a little lower than me maybe, but again, you need to be aware. Keeping these muscles nice and tight, nice and strong. Good. And then coming up. So again, I'm showing you a lot of things with a less repetitions. You can certainly do these more. You can do these during the day. You can also pause the video and do more however you want. I'm just trying to get a lot of information in the video for you, so you'll have a lot of choices. Okay? So the one that we just did, the standing one's a good one. Another good one for standing, and then we're going to come into the yoga postures, is going to be a movement of the hip. So taking up the outside leg, you're going to bring that leg open, center, and down. Now, for more of a strength challenge, you can keep your foot hovered above the mat or the rug. You don't have to bring it down unless you'd like. So it's an up, open, center, and down. Now, I'm going to be adding some head turn options here that you may or may not want to practice, all right? So as your knee is turning one direction, you can turn your head the other way, and then bring the head back to center as you bring the leg down, okay? So it's an up, the option to turn the head the opposite way. Good. Make sure you're breathing. Again, notice when you turn your head, that makes a big difference in your balance. Big difference. So it's always about safety first, but these are good things to practice, right? Good. Good. And then relax that, let it go. And we're going to come to second side. Again, please feel free to do more repetitions that I'm offering you here. Lengthen, lengthen. Find that beautiful alignment again. Think about it. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over the ankles. So you have that beautiful alignment here. Other leg now. Open. So trying this first, see how this feels to you, and then maybe adding the head turn. Notice how one side feels compared to the other. You might have a really more solid balance one side than the other. I know I do. I know with my arthritis, there's a distinct difference between one side and the other. So again, be aware. It's good information to know, right? Good. Are we breathing? I hope so. Maybe one or two more. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to be moving you now into the Warrior Series in yoga. I love this series because it's about strength, it's about balance, it's about stability. You can do this in a chair or standing, okay? If you're in a chair, I'm going to be cueing right foot to the right. Your leg that you're not moving, that can come out front, like a kickstand, okay? You can also, depending on your hip flexibility, you can absolutely sit in the chair, one leg straighter and the other leg bent. This has a lot to do with hip flexibility. It may not feel good to you. It may feel too much on your back as well. So if that's the case, you're going to sit more forward in the chair. We'll turn the right leg to the right, and that other leg, that left leg, can be an anchor more in the front, okay? So again, find where you want to be. If you're standing, turning the right toes to the right, the left toes in a bit, there's your straighter leg. We're going to bend that right knee over that right ankle. You don't want to overshoot it, okay? You want to look down and see those toes. And sometimes the knee wants to track to the big toe side. It kind of wants to roll in. See if you can keep it more center of the foot. Now, your posture here, you're thinking of your weight settling in between the bent leg and the straight leg, okay? Arms are coming out to the side now. Palms can be up to set your shoulders down and then turn them back down. This is Warrior Two. Gazing over the right fingertips. Your legs can be wider or not. Breathe here. Warrior Two. Now straighten the right knee. Float the left hand lightly on that left leg wherever it goes. Right arm floats up. Turn the palm to the back, and we're going to lean back a bit. This is a side body stretch and also a slight back bend. Now, how can I add more balance challenge to this? I can look up to my hand, or maybe straight ahead, or maybe I'd like to be against a wall and do this, or maybe I'd like to have a hand on the chair. Again, all your choices, right? Back to Warrior Two, bend into that right knee. Take the right hand lightly on that right thigh. Left arm's up this time for right angle. Reaching toward that right side now, that right bent knee. Some of you might want to bring your forearm to that thigh. Others of you might want to be more upright. You might want to have your hand on a chair or the bar, wherever you got. Breathe. Nice. And then come back to Warrior Two one more time. Relax your arms. Facing front here, or connecting in the chair, side to side, rock it out. I love yoga. I would encourage you to practice yoga if you have that opportunity. Chair yoga, wall yoga, mat yoga, it's all good. Yoga is yoga. Don't let anybody ever tell you chair yoga is not real yoga. It's not, that's an untrue statement. Okay, now, left foot. So here we are again, the option of being in the chair, right? Left leg to the left now. Maybe that other leg's anchoring, or maybe if you have that flexibility, you can straighten it here. Okay, if you're standing, again, the left foot is going to turn straight on. The right foot in a bit, hands on the hips, bending, again, lining up. So you want to be able to see those toes if you can. If the knee is kind of coming in toward the midline, scoot it back so it's more in the middle of the foot if you can. Find those arms again. Powerful. Warrior Two. Breathe. Good. Reverse Warrior. Straighten the left leg. Float the right hand back onto the right leg lightly here. Left arm up. Spin the palm to the back. Reach back, open up through side body, slight back bend two, breathe. Again, where can you be looking? This is what we call the drishti in yoga. You can look up, straight ahead. I wouldn't look down on this one though, I would look up or straight ahead. Good. On the inhale again, back to warrior two. This is our kind of pause posture here, right? And now right angle, left hand to the leg, left leg, lightly right arm up. Reaching now to the left, maybe the forearm. Maybe you're more up, maybe your hands on the chair. You might be against a wall. Any way you can practice is perfect. Perfect. Breathe. Warrior two again, one more time. Good work. Relax that down. Maybe side to side sway. You're doing beautifully. You're doing beautifully. Okay. Now, because we're into about 42 minutes into this video almost, I'm going to start moving into some of the weight training options. There are numerous ones that you can do. And again, you can stand and do some of these, or you can sit. If you've been standing upright with me, you've been standing for a while. So again, make the choices. Now I use, these are weights that I love because they're from the Arthritis Foundation. They're beanbag weights. It's very much easier for me to hold on to them than a regular weight, okay? So either seated or standing, I'm gonna offer you a couple choices. I'm gonna stand to the side here. Front raise to strengthen the shoulders. So we're going to take our weights in one hand and then the other, lift shoulder height, and down, exhale, and down. Now I'm going to give you some options here, okay? You can be seated, like I said earlier. If you want more of a balance challenge, as you raise your right leg, see if you can bring your left heel back. Bring that down. Left arm, right heel back, and down. Again, this may not be okay for you. This may not be a good choice for you, and that's okay. Again, do what you can. You might want to sway instead. You could have the sway instead of the lift, like we did earlier. Remember the different choices that we first started with? So you could be swaying. Another thing you could do, which is more intensity, is the both arms up at the same time. This is going to make it more of a challenge here. Definitely more of a challenge. So either unilateral, one side, or bilateral, both sides. Make sure you're breathing. Finish up a set. 8 to 12 repetitions, up to 15 repetitions if you can, whatever you can do, okay? So that's a front raise that we did, strengthening front shoulder, with the option to breathe, what we call a hamstring curl, okay? Now one other standing one, and then we'll sit, is going to be a bicep curl with a march option. So palms facing front, standing in stability to start. We're gonna bend the elbows here. Now, option would be one elbow bends, the opposite knee comes up. Now again, before the knee comes up, you might want to bring a heel up, right? So there's your weight shift. So you might prefer this to start, or all together, and then maybe bring a knee up, maybe. So now the knee's coming to the front of the body. See this? You can probably tell that left side is much more challenged than the right side. We all have things that we do that are challenging, right? We have to practice. That's what it is. It's all about practice. So again, maybe it's one arm, the opposite leg. You might want to bring the heel up instead, or you might want the stationary feet and the bicep curl without that, and without the lift, and that's okay. Okay, so however you want to do it. Okay, a couple more here before we finish. One of my favorites, this is called a row, okay? And it's important to strengthen the muscles in the back body. We have bands where I work, and also with my personal training business that we row with. But because we don't have that, we're going to use the weight. So important alignment here. As we come forward, notice how my back is flat. I'm not going to round my spine. I'm going to try to keep it as straight as I can. So from upright, hands on the legs, bow forward. The outside arm, whatever arm you're starting with, is going to hang down, and you're going to pull up like you're pulling weeds in the garden. Breathe in here. As you pull up, squeeze the shoulder blades together and the back body. Now, continue to do this. You can do one side, the other side, or both sides at the same time. Okay, now, this is more intense. Why? Because now my core muscles are engaged. I don't have any support from my arm. So now if I'm doing both at the same time, another option would be to reach out front and do this. You're going to notice a difference. So again, I'm giving you lots of choices here. Breathing, good, continuing. Either one side, 8 to 12 repetitions, second side, or both sides together. You can mix and match them however that you want, okay? So you're really trying to work on these muscles, particularly in the back body. It's really critical, okay? One last one, because we did biceps, I want to do triceps, okay? So tricep here, elbow up. Extending back, squeezing the back of that upper arm here. And then here, yep, squeeze back. And again, could I do this both at the same time? Sure. Could I do one at a time? Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Biceps, triceps. This is the tricep, the back of the upper arm, the muscles that we use when we push things away. We're lying on our belly in bed, we're pushing away. That's partly from the tricep. Okay, so really, again, very important. Beautiful. So again, finishing with that. Again, I know this video is longer. I'm going to be finished in a few minutes. It's about a 50-minute video now. So now, usually what I do at the end of class is we have a cushion or a ball. We use a Pilates ball where I work or in my personal training practice. If we don't have a ball, again, there's some ab and low back work that you can do from the chair. So the first thing, and if you don't have a ball, you could also use a pillow, okay, if you want. But if you don't have any of those things, you're going to sit up nice and tall, more toward the front part of your chair. You're going to inhale, lean back with a flat back. Notice my back is flat. Exhale. So this is working more abdominal here. Make sure your feet stay connected to the floor. You don't want to lean back so much that your feet start coming off. That's not good for your back, okay? Now, how do I make this more intense? Maybe I lean back with my arms crossed. Maybe I lean back from my arms here. Arms overhead, much harder. The closer the center of gravity gets closest to the head, the intensity is more. So a lot of these have to do with how your back feels, okay? Abdominal strength. Okay, here. Good. Now, so you do about, again, 12 or so of those. And then the last thing here, you'd lean back and touch the chair with your back, or go back where you can. Again, feet stay connected. My foot just slipped. Okay, now these are stretching here, strengthening the back. You can press back into the chair, maybe with your back, and then coming back up. So it's the opposite of what we just did. Pressing back, maybe leaning into the back of the chair a bit, or a ball, or a cushion, and pressing up. Back, strengthening the muscles of the back body. Now, could I start forward a bit more? Yes, I could start forward a bit more and then come back a bit more, range of motion. Again, but notice how my back is straight. We don't want to round the spine here. Coming back, press into the back of the chair. So again, working on your core. abdominals, low back, okay? Continuing to breathe, okay? So important. And all of the movements that you did up to now are engaging the core, particularly when you're breathing, okay? So it's been my pleasure to share this with you. It's a little over 50-minute video. If you have any questions, Galena has my email. I also have a website, but the best way to get a hold of me is through my email if there's any questions or concerns. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you practice it. And stay strong, people. Stay strong and steady, okay? Have a nice day, and thanks for watching my video with me and practicing. Bye-bye.